Have you ever noticed that your ego always seems to have something to prove? It tells you that you need to be right, that you need to win every single argument, and that people have to respect you before you can feel confident. But I've started to realize something that's completely changed the way that I think. The louder your ego becomes, the quieter your real confidence gets. When I was younger, which to be honest wasn't that long ago, I thought confidence meant having all the answers. I thought it meant never looking weak, never admitting I was wrong, and always appearing like I knew exactly what I was doing. Now, over the years, the older I've become, the more I've realized that's not confidence at all. In reality, the most confident people I've ever met are usually the quietest people in the room. Those kind of people, they're just comfortable saying, I don't know, they're not afraid to ask questions, and they don't see admitting they're wrong as some kind of defeat. They just see it as another opportunity to learn. Now, your ego hates that idea. It would rather protect your pride than allow you to grow. It's whispering in your ear that asking for help just makes you look incapable, that apologizing makes you look weak, and that changing your mind somehow means that you've lost. But the truth is, that's exactly how people stay stuck. That's how I stood stuck. That's even a word. The moment you believe you have nothing left to learn is the moment you stop moving forward. Now, I think at some point, I have, I'm sure you guys have that are watching the video, your parents have, your dog has, your cat has. One of us has ignored some pretty good advice simply because we didn't want someone else to be right. We've all refused help at some point because we thought we should already know the answer, or maybe you thought you did know the answer. But then looking back, those moments actually just weren't signs of confidence at all. In fact, they were just signs that our ego was making decisions instead of us. And the funny thing is that your ego will just promise confidence, but what it really creates is just insecurity when your identity depends on always looking successful or always being right. Every bit of criticism, it just suddenly feels personal. Every mistake feels embarrassing, and every failure just feels like proof that you are not good enough, which is exhausting because you're constantly relying on other people's opinions to feel secure. Now, real confidence is just completely different. It doesn't need constant validation because it isn't built on perfection. It's built on progress. A confident person understands that they will make mistakes, but they also know those mistakes are often the greatest teachers they'll ever have. One quote that has always stuck with me is this: the moment you stop defending who you think you are is the moment you become free to become who you could be. I think there's a lot of truth in that. We spend too much energy trying to protect some form of image of ourselves that we forget to become a better version of ourselves. So next time you catch yourself arguing just to win, or refusing advice because, it hurts my pride, or pretending you've got everything figured out, just stop for 1 second and ask yourself one simple question. Am I trying to grow, or am I just trying to protect my ego? Those two things rarely lead you down the same path. At the end of the day, your ego wants to impress people, but your character also wants to improve. If you can choose improvement over impressing others, even when it's uncomfortable, you'll become the kind of person who doesn't need to tell people they're confident. They'll just see it for themselves. That's all I really have to say on the topic. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I hope it opened your mind a little bit. And if you got anything else you want me to talk about, then just leave it in the comments and maybe I'll get around to it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.